Kebokile, Zvobgo. She's the Associate Dean for the Office of Study Abroad and International Programs. She's been with Pitzer College for over 30 years. Her main contributions to Pitzer College have been running the Pitzer program in Zimbabwe for 10 years, founding and running the Pitzer in Botswana program, directing successful Pitzer 60-plus international exchange programs, and facilitating the vaccine development project in partnership with the Botswana Vaccine Institute and the University of Botswana. Kebokile also teaches classes in gender and feminist studies. Her research interests are in women and the law, especially human rights in Southern Africa. Kebokile holds an MSc from the University of Edinburgh, Scotland. Kebokile's peace work is within memberships and projects within the United Nations Association Pomona Valley chapter, where she was president for 2 years, Rotary International in Claremont, and Initiatives of Change. She believes that global education and exchange is the window to peace. Thank you, Kebokile.
Thank you. That doesn't sound like me, but anyway. Yes, I would like to approach the question that was presented to us with my own operational definition of peace. My operational definition of peace is based on an age-old African saying that says Ubuntu. And Ubuntu, really what it means is that I am because you are. Our destinies are intricately connected. So I can't be me over here and Andy, you are over there. Our destinies are together. If we were to have an earthquake, I hope we don't, we are in it together. So that's where I'm coming from. And that's what I learned as a little girl growing up in Zimbabwe, that my pursuit for peace is intricately connected with my family, it's connected with my neighbor, in this global village, is connected with the people in the next town and in the next country and globally and even outside our planet Earth. And so that is one thing that I would like to leave with you, that word. We heard about the importance of language and how to translate and how to speak, as it were, a language of understanding and empathy. And I believe that if you take that word, it's from the Zulu language. If you take that word Ubuntu and use it, it may be a helpful one to take along. Right, so that's the first one. By the way, it's really hard to ask an African to speak for 5 minutes because we first have to go round and round. But I really promise you I have 3 points. Then the next one is the SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals, there are 17 of them, and I promise you I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through these first 5. No poverty. That sounds utopian, but I would like to say or argue that it is possible to realize that if those of us who are privileged are mindful of our privileges and make sure, because guess what? There is enough food in the world for us all to move on to the second Sustainable Development Goal. There is enough. The reason why there is hunger, the reason why there is still abject poverty is because some of us have more than others. And I'm going to say and argue that if we try and practice that age-old African philosophy that I started with as my operational definition, maybe, may I suggest, maybe we could realize the end to poverty and the end to hunger the way we see it. I would also, in that same spirit, suggest that we can heal ourselves. We have the wisdom and the expertise in our societies to heal ourselves. But the world, the way I see it, has been creating concoctions that are killing us. We have been eating things that are killing us, that are non-food items. Therefore, if that is indeed true, then I believe in order to realize peace, to go back to our word, it is important that we are healthy, and I cannot be healthy upstream if downstream my neighbor is having all my pollutants. And so I'm going to suggest that good health and well-being, the third development goal, although it's called health, it actually can be, and it points towards peace. Then, of course, I believe that education is the key. If you have a hammer and everything around you is a nail and you knock it down, as an educator, I really seriously believe that in order to realize peace, we need education. And I'm not talking about reading and writing, important though those are. I am talking about intercultural understanding. In order to understand the other, I need to learn the language of the other. I need to use that AI that was presented and told to us earlier on. I need to be competent in that so that what I say is understood, and also so that I listen and hear what the other people are saying in their language and in their way. I believe that in order to realize this universal, there must be some universality about it. We need to ensure that there is education for all, especially at the elementary and secondary school level. Yes, we're in tertiary education and we enjoy this, but there are a lot of girls, especially, I will argue, who have no access to school where I come from. So I see myself as privileged. And so those of us who are privileged have a duty to make sure that we enable those who are not to be here. And then on this slide, the last one I'll talk about ever so briefly is gender equality. And I think in this room, I don't need to go further than that. In order to realize peace, you cannot ignore half of society, as we change into the next slide. And, you know, I say that it is important to, and what that picture is about is a school in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is home to me. And therefore, they say charity begins at home. May I just say, maybe peace begins at home. And so for me, peace was taking within the auspices of Rotary International and the Claremont Club, taking books to a little school in Victoria Falls so that girls could read. For me, peace was also making sure that the girl child could go to school. Believe it or not, the girl children in this particular school were missing 1 week out of every 4 because they were having their menstrual period. And those bags are menstrual kits that they could make themselves and therefore go to school because they have adequate protection materials. So I am saying peace has many forms. It may be eradication of poverty, but it is also ensuring that the girl child goes to school. And I'll end by saying to us all that we have a role, like has already been said before. Every one of us has a role to play. And I think what we need to do is to find what it is we need to be working on.